Okay, so for today's movie, I'm actually pretty stoked to bring this one up. From the first time I saw this movie, I've been in love with it, and it's I once heard, I believe Rob Zombie said it, where he said, movies aren't supposed, like, a horror movie isn't supposed to just give you, it's supposed to give you some kind of feeling, some kind of disgust and all that, and that's true. But there's always a certain way you got to go about it. It's, do you gross somebody out just with cheap shit that doesn't really make sense? It's just like, oh, let's just rape somebody, or let's just kill somebody for no fucking reason, stuff like that, and doesn't have anything to do with the story. No, you gotta visualize it. You gotta set a scene, and then that's when it's okay. It's a movie. It's not real. So this movie, just the whole movie, it's like a cringe fest. Like, it's like, what the fuck, dude? I'm just gonna get into it. Okay, so we're watching May. I know we're in October. Nobody's gotta tell me. Nobody write in the comments, hey, no, nobody write, hey, it's October, why are you doing May or whatever. Don't say that. That will just fucking piss me off. First of all, let's get the elephant out of the room. Let's shoo that motherfucker out. This is the girl that played Carrie in the remake, and I believe it was the 90s one, or maybe even, well, who knows when it was. This is that girl. And what's pretty crazy about this movie, you know what? If I remember correctly, they came out in the same year, or like very, very close to each other. But what's crazy is it almost seems like she's playing the same character in a way. So this character, she doesn't fit in very well. She's kind of weird. She's closed in. That's Carrie, right? But Carrie, she's like controlled by her mom and all that stuff. This girl, not so much. She lives in her own place. But same thing. She just seems like an outcast. Okay. So we're gonna just get into spoilers from here. Right away, I recommend this movie if you want to feel weird. If you want to feel like, the fuck am I watching? Watch this. It all goes together. It's a fun horror movie. It's like a 90s fun type of horror movie. I put it over, like, way over Scream or any of those type of 90s movies. This is way funner than that. So here we go. May, right? This girl, they show right in the beginning, they show that she has a little doll. Like, somebody buys her a porcelain doll for her birthday, her parents, and it's just this ugly, creepy looking porcelain doll, and she keeps it in a case. I think it came with the case or whatever, So she keeps that thing in a case. Then it cuts to, like, later in her life when she's like, I don't know how old she's supposed to be at this point. I don't know if she's supposed to be like early 20s, late teens. I'm not sure, but either way, whatever year she's in, she's fucked. So this girl, she's, like I said before, she's not fitting in. It's not like a high school thing. She's like in the real world. So that's why I say, like, it's Carrie, but it's like the same. She's like still Carrie kind of, but she's not doing telekinesis. What she's doing is she's just being an adult Carrie and carrying that. She keeps the weirdness. So she exchanges telekinesis with weirdness, with more weirdness. This is May right here. So I'm gonna tell you how weird this motherfucker gets. So she works at a what do you call it? A veterinarian place. People taking their cats, their dogs, so forth. Sick animals. She helps take care of them, right? So she's in there, and her coworker is Anna Faris. So Anna Faris, she comes in from time to time. If you don't know how Anna Faris, she's that house bunny girl. Well, she comes in from time to time, and then she flirts with May, which is like, it's like, you don't know. It's like, is this girl, like, kind of messing with her, or what's the situation with her? Turns out, Anna Faris is just like some weird horn dog in this movie. She just wants to, like, she plays for the other team, which is fine, but she's just trying to hit. So she's trying to hit with May. She finds this other girl. She's okay. We'll get back to her. So May starts noticing this dude that works around town. He works like at this. I believe they showed him working on cars or something. He's like, you know, like a mechanic or something. You know, she's trying to get his attention, but she's not really saying like, oh hey. She's just like, okay. This is the part where you start really cringing for her. She gets all dolled up, right? And homeboy goes to a coffee shop, and I think he's, you know, doing crossword puzzles or some dumb shit. And he's also drinking like his coffee, you know. And May is sitting kind of across the room. It's not even a room; it's outside, but the seating area, you know. So she's sitting across from him. He hasn't even glanced her way or nothing, you know. Not even a little peek, like he looks at her, and then she just gets shy. None of that, dude. It's just like, I'm in my own world, you know. Fucking Sudoku time. That's where he's living, you know. But Maze, the whole time, she's just staring him down like, oh, we're meant to be kind of thing, you know? And, you know, before this, there's like little situations where she's talking to that doll. So like that doll that I mentioned earlier, that's her best friend. Super fucking weird, dude. Like, that's how weird people develop. They don't have friends. If you see somebody that's a little odd, be their friend, you know what I mean? Don't be rude to them. You know, they're people too. Like they get weird because nobody's like interacting with them and telling them like, hey dude, you're being weird. You got, you know, and once they're beyond weird, then it's harder to bring them back to reality. It's a whole mess, dude. Anyways, be nice to people, man. They're people. So May's just staring this dude down, and the dude starts falling asleep. He's doing his shit, and then he's doing this move, you know, and then his head falls off. And his hand just like stays up like that. And she's obsessed with his hands. She just keeps saying like, oh, his hands are perfect. His hands are perfect. Okay. That's already weird. Definitely don't do this next move that she does. If you've ever fallen in love with somebody and they fall asleep like this, don't do what I'm going to tell you that she did. She walks up, maying it up, you know, and she just starts rubbing her face on his hand. She starts pulling this fucking move, and it's like, you know, that's sweet if he's awake and he's kind of doing it to you, or you know, you guys had a moment and then maybe you ease on into him. But he's sleeping. Don't just go up to some dude you've never met, start rubbing your face on his hand. And second of all, how deep of a sleeper is this dude where he doesn't feel any of that? Like, I don't know. But either way, he really doesn't even flinch. She's doing it for a little bit, you know? And then finally, like, he kind of gets up and she trips, and then she just runs off. And it's like super awkward, and he's like, oh, okay, whatever. So I think it cuts scene to where she's doing her laundry at the laundromat, you know? And he pulls up and then, you know, starts chatting it up with her. I think that's where they met like officially. But anyways, he starts like kind of chatting with her. He's like, hey, you want to share a cigarette? He gives her a cigarette. And then she doesn't know how to smoke, so she's like super awkward about it, like she gets real weird about the way she moves. That's why this movie's fucking great. Like, she's like, the character's already weird as it is, but she fucking plays it. She plays it up. You know, she's, you know, some little skinny white girl, but so it just like her body language and everything just plays it up so fucking well. You know what I mean? It's like you believe this girl for a second, kind of. It's like, all right. But anyway, she's smoking all weird, and like every once in a while she'll like touch him, but she'll like do this weird thing, like, and he kind of lets her, you know. And later on, you start finding out like, oh, he's kind of into weird chicks. That's his thing, you know. So let's move forward a little bit. So like at some point he's like, hey, you know, we can hang out at my place, you know. So which, you know, that's the code for Pound Town, obviously. You know, I mean, you know, you already know that's the code, Pound Town, right? Okay, so they go to his house, and it starts. He shows her his room, and there's like pictures of like murders and like, you know, it like jars of stuff. It just looks real creepy, you know. And he's just like, hey, you like it, huh? It's weird, huh? Is it cool? And she's super into it. So May sees this stuff and she's like way into it. She's like, hey, that's pretty cool stuff, you know. So they start making out, start getting a little hot and heavy. Tell me why May bites the shit out of him, you know. It's like we've all been in that situation, you know. You get a little hot and heavy, get a little bite going, and a little nibble here and there. No, she bites him to where he's just like instantly just kind of gushing blood, like what the fuck. Like, and then he's like, he doesn't like get mad at her, right? Like at first he's just like, oh shit, you know, I'm bleeding, like you bit the shit out of me. Tell me why after he touches his mouth and gets blood, her reaction is like, oh, give me your hands, I'm gonna suck this blood off. And he gets so weirded out. And then he's like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, what? And he's like, that's weird. You don't get that that's weird? And she's like, you said you like weird. And he's like, hey, not that weird. Like there's like some dumb little pause that, I don't know, I always remember it that way. Maybe it's not that to that extent, but that's how I remember it. He's like, hey, not that weird. So anyways, he gives her the boot, tells her, hey, fuck off, you know? So it just cuts scene to like little scenes of her like trying to call him, and then he's like ignoring her, and she's like stalking him a little bit, and eventually like Anna Faris like catches wind of this, and she's like, oh, you know, you want to come over to my house? Let's hang out. How come we never hang out and all this? And so they have their little moment where she's like into her, and she's genuinely seems to be into her, you know, like they're having fun and all that. But May is under the impression that, you know, they're best friends, they're together, you know, that's the thing. So later on, you know, May goes to her house, and she opens the door, and there's a girl in the back. She's like, hey, you want to join us? Like, she's like, what is this? She just thought they were exclusive or whatever. And meanwhile, Anna Faris is like, no, you're my girl, but like, you know, I gotta hit this shit. I think she literally says something like that. You know, I gotta tap this. She says something stupid like that. But so, you know, May gets a little mad at that or whatever, and then she eventually ends up seeing that dude again at the park, and he's being real cool about it. He walks up to her, and he's like, because that was actually an interaction before with they were at the laundromat, and he like totally dodged her. He's like, well, this machine doesn't work. I'm gonna go try another laundromat. He just takes off, and it was super like fucked up. He ends up seeing her at a park just reading some book about like, I don't know, it was like about death or something. It was some crazy looking book, right? So he's talking to her, and he's being real like cool about it. He's just, you know, like, how you been? And she's like, oh, I'm cool. And she's even seems kind of cool about it. And then I think he tries to shake her hand or whatever, and she has to go and be fucking weird again. She gets his hand, she just starts like rubbing it, or she kisses it or something. And he's like, you know what? Good luck with yourself. Like, you're not there, dude. I'm sorry. I can't be associated with you, you know? So I can't remember the exact series of events that leads to this next leads to the conclusion, but I do know she meets some dude. It's supposed to be some punk rock type of dude. I know punk rock dudes. This is the most horrendous representation of a rocker fool that I've ever fucking seen. They twisted they gave him a mohawk, but it's like, dude, it just looks like pretzel bread knotted up and then just made out of hair. So it's real stupid. I might have, you know, I gotta show a picture of this guy. It's so stupid. Like, why? Like, you guys didn't do a good job. I don't know what that guy's supposed to be. Either way, she meets this guy. He goes to her house, and he starts pulling the Jimbo Jones. He's like, oh, it's hot in here. I think I'm gonna take my shirt off. Is that cool? Like, so he takes his shirt off, and she's kind of admiring his arms. I think she's like, oh, you have beautiful arms. That's the ongoing thing throughout this movie. She tells people, oh, you got beautiful legs. I love your neck. I love your hands. You know. So she tells this dude, I love your arms. And this dude walks over to her fridge because he's saying he's hot and he's gonna put ice on his nipples. It's a real weird thing, you know. So he goes in there, and it's like her dead cat. I think earlier she had threw something and it killed her cat. It was a fucking mess, you know. Also, right before this, she had a big old breakdown where she broke her doll, and it's a whole mess. So this is where her fucking mind is just gone. She's just like, I'm on some other shit, you know. So this dude flips out because he finds her cat frozen in her freezer. She gets scissors, and she like stabs the dude dead in the head. He's a deadhead. So he puts his hand like that, and it goes through his hand, through his head. Dead head. He's dead. Right. So from there, they don't really show it, but basically she hacked him up. So she kept his arms. Then she gets a cooler on a little cart, and she just starts walking. And it's like, where the fuck is this bitch going? Meanwhile, you know where she's going. So she goes to Homeboy's house, the dude that she was all obsessed with. When she's there, she's like, she notices that he's with this other girl, you know, and that girl's pretty annoying too. I forget that girl's name. She's been in like 90s type movies too. Anyways, I don't know if she kills her or whatever, but she definitely kills him. She takes his hands, starts going to Anna Faris's house. And at this point, May is completely different. She's like not awkward anymore. She's like super assertive. She's super like she knows who she is. Real empowered. She's empowered as a murderer. You know, it's like that's not who you're supposed to be in life. You're supposed to, yeah, be empowered and proud and all that, but as a good individual, not as a murderer. And she, you know, so she's kind of sitting there, kind of. It seems like she's flirting with Anna Faris, but really she's like trying to get that neck. She liked her neck meat, you know. I can't remember how she kills her, but she kills her. They might have even killed her off screen type of thing. One of those things where they don't show everything. I can't remember. Anyway, she gets hacked up, and then her girlfriend comes. That other girl that she was smashing with, she shows up, and then that girl's like piece of shit. And then May's like flirting with her, and she's like, "You got nice gams," like her legs. Why would you call them gams? But anyways, she kills this chick too. May just killed everybody, you know. And then she put, I guess she has all these people in her little cooler that she's just carrying around on a little cart. Takes it back home. She starts sewing the perfect person together. So she's, you know, she got these legs, she got this body. I don't know whose body it was actually. I don't know, but either way, she got the arms, she got the hands, the head. It just looks like a piece of cloth. So I don't know if there was like a head under there when she put a cloth. I don't know, but it's just, that's what it is. But anyway, she sewed all that together, and it's like the perfect human to her. She's like, oh, this is perfect, and she's like all in love with it. But then she's like, oh my god, my new friend can't see me. So she's freaking the fuck out. She's like, what am I gonna do? Tell me why this bitch decides to get scissors or something sharp and poking her eye out, her own fucking eye out. Bitch, then how are you gonna see your friend? You know what I mean? Anyway, she rips her own eye out, and it's fucking terrifying because she's yelling and all this stuff, and you could kind of feel it. It's that cringe. It's just like, ugh. So she takes her eye out, she puts it on the thing, and she's saying it's perfect. Meanwhile, she's like this, and then her eye looks all fucking mangled, and it's fucking awful. And that's pretty much May. I think that's just where it ends. She just has that. She's just living with that corpse. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's just how it ends. I don't know, man. Something about this movie is really fucking fun. It's just, I love seeing the story of this weird individual. I wish there was a movie in between when all this happened. Like, what other weird interactions? Like a movie that's not a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like before she started killing people, I wanted to see like what were her other interactions. How did she get that job with the veterinarian? You know, how did she get through school? I would like to see that. It doesn't have to be a horror movie. She doesn't have to kill anybody, but I would just like to see all the weird interactions that led to this movie. I don't know. She's a very interesting fucking character. I don't know if this girl's been in other stuff, but she's a fucking really great actress. I fucking love this girl, man. But that's pretty much it. That's May.